Hi, I'm professional sports handicapper Ross Benjamin. It's Thursday, November 21st, time for another edition of my college football free picks. I have three free picks in college football in store on Saturday, the 23rd. So keep that in mind, folks. You may be viewing this video after I do or well after I do the recording, and these lines are all subject to change, but they will be graded on the lines I use on this video. If you haven't subscribed, I appreciate if you would do so. Right below this video on the right hand side, you'll see a subscribe button. Just click it. Costs you absolutely nothing. No strings attached, no obligations. It's what keeps these videos alive, and I thank all of you. Over 5,000, pretty close to 5,500 the last I checked, subscribers I have on this YouTube channel. Let's get right to the picks. And let's start with the game between the Texas A&M Aggies and the number 4 ranked Georgia Bulldogs. 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Game will be played in Athens, Georgia. CBS national telecast currently as we speak. The Georgia Bulldogs are a 13.5-point home favorite. Georgia's defense has been absolutely terrific this season. And, folks, it's covered up a lot of their deficiencies on offense and left them a little less exposed in that area. Now, I'm not saying Georgia's offense is bad by any stretch of the imagination, but when you're talking about the number 4 team in the country, right now holding the last college football playoff spot, their offense is not a top 4 offense, an offense of a team that's in the top 4. That's all I'm alluding to. Now, their offense over the last 4 games has been held to 270 yards or less on 2 occasions, and during that time, they've passed for just 149.3 yards per game. Of course, they're a run-heavy offense. As a matter of fact, over 60% of Georgia's offensive plays this year have been rushing attempts, and they're going to have to be more than one-dimensional against Texas A&M if they hope to cover this 13.5-point spread. Georgia, again, 9-1, and their only loss they suffered was against South Carolina at home, an overtime loss, as a 20.5-point favorite in that contest. And lo and behold, last week, Texas A&M faced that very same South Carolina team and absolutely dominated them in a 30-6 home win, which improved their season record to 7-3. And don't sleep on Texas A&M, folks. I'm not implying they're going to win this game outright, but this game, in my opinion, is going to be a lot closer than the experts might think. If you look at their 3 losses, they've come at the hands of number 5 Alabama, number 15 Auburn, and number 2 Clemson. So it's not like they've lost the teams they should have beaten, a la Georgia's loss against South Carolina. And I really like A&M's quarterback, Kelly Mond. He's not flashy by any stretch, but he's certainly efficient. 18 touchdown passes against 6 interceptions. And boy, this Texas A&M run game has really ramped up during their current 4-game win streak. Heading into this week, I like A&M here, plus the 13.5 at Georgia. Next game, the SMU Mustangs travel to Annapolis, Maryland to take on the Navy Midshipmen. Scheduled time kickoff 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and currently Navy is a 3.5-point home favorite. Boy, my antennas jumped right out of my head when I saw this line. You're looking at an 9-1 SMU team that's currently ranked number 25 in the latest college football poll, and they're a better than a field goal underdog against an unranked Navy team that's coming off a 52-20 embarrassing loss at Notre Dame last week. Not so much embarrassing that the Middies lost that game at number 15 Notre Dame, but the manner of which they did. They were behind. They gave up 38 points in the first half and were never in that game. And it was a blowout loss, and one Navy needs to just sweep under the rug and move on, and I believe they will. This is a Navy team that's a perfect 5-0 at home this year, and they've won those 5 home games by an average of 22.8 points per contest. Since they joined the American Athletic Conference, Navy is a stellar 19-4 in conference home games, and that includes, more importantly, 15-8 against the spread in conference home games. The SMU defense is a huge concern for Mustangs fans and backers. Over their last three games, even though they won two of those three, SMU is allowing 45.3 points per contest, and opponents have racked up an average of 556 yards of total offense per game against that Mustangs defense. As I touched upon, Navy did lose to number 15 Notre Dame. Their only other loss was against number 18 Memphis. Both of those obviously coming on the road. They come in with a very good 7-2 record and still have an outside chance to get to the AAC championship game if they win out and things fall their way. I like Navy here. I'm going to lay the points. Now, very important, folks. I've talked about key numbers before: 3, 7, 10, 14. I'm going to buy a half a point in this situation by Navy from 3.5 down to 3. Lay the extra juice against SMU. Folks, that's not a sign of weakness. That's smart sports wagering, and the juice only counts when you lose. Next, Oregon at Arizona State. The Ducks, who are now number 6 in the college football playoff rankings, are a 14-point road favorite at Arizona State on Saturday. This is an Arizona State team that started the year inside the top 25 for a better part of the first half of the year. They started 5-1. However, they've lost 4 games in a row, including losses against losing teams in UCLA and Oregon State. And Arizona State, I should say, losing programs in recent years in Oregon State and UCLA. 2 weeks ago, Arizona State hosted USC, and they lost 31-26 at home. The week before that, Oregon traveled to USC and demolished the Trojans 56-24 on the road. So those of you who like comparisons of such, that's a pretty strong one, I must say. Oregon opened the year with a loss to Auburn on a neutral field, a game in which Auburn scored the winning touchdown on a 28 to 30-yard pass. I can't remember exactly, with 9 seconds left to play in that one-score game. And since that time, Oregon has gone 9-0. This very easily, as I just touched upon, could be an Oregon team that would be 10-0 at this point. But having said that, they're right in the mix, and they're on a crash course to meet Utah in the Pac-12 championship game, and the winner of that game certainly, barring an upset before that happens against either club, the winner of that game should have an excellent chance to get to the college football playoff. But in the interim, in the next 2 weeks, and speaking of Oregon in this matter, they need to really win decisively to capture the imagination of the college football committee, especially when you have Penn State and Oklahoma breathing down your neck. Penn State is a big underdog this week at number 1 Ohio State, but if they should happen to knock off the Buckeyes, and then you look at Oklahoma, if they happen to win out, style points, meaning convincing wins in the next 2 weeks, would go a long way in holding their position. So look for Oregon to really come out and try to really lay the lumber on this struggling Arizona State team. And Justin Herbert, the quarterback for Oregon, figures to be the top quarterback taken in the 2020 NFL draft. He's enjoying a sensational season, throwing for 2,662 yards, 28 touchdown passes against 3 interceptions, and he's going to be facing an Arizona State defense that's allowed a combined 755 yards passing over their last 2 games against USC and Oregon State. Look for Herbert to light it up for the Ducks in the air, and that will only open up the running game. I like the floodgates to open here. I like Oregon minus 14 at Arizona State. Repeating again, Texas A&M plus 13.5 at Georgia. Navy minus 3.5. Buy them down to 3. against SMU, and the Oregon Ducks -14 at Arizona State. Be sure to visit my website, rbwins.com. There you can find all my late releases, paid selections, and my long history speaks for itself. Consistent winning. That's rbwins.com, where you pay a little to make a lot. Until the next time, good luck with all your picks, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button below.